In this video, we're going to talk about some problematic prepositions of time and get a little bit more detailed on how to use them, especially during, by, and until. And we're going to invite some of their friends to come also. So hopefully by the end of this video, you will be more skilled at using these prepositions correctly. So first of all, we're going to take a look at during. During might seem like an easy preposition. It's for a length of time. It's not quite that simple. Let's take a look. We're going to also look at for, in, throughout, and over as prepositions of time. So this sentence is incorrect and it's a common mistake. I will stay there during these days. What's the problem here? The problem is it is not during. It is for. I will stay there for 3 days. For is used for a duration. How long? Not during. During is used for a time period, but the name of a time period, like the night, the day, March, January, the spring, the fall, the 1990s. So this sentence, I had a crazy dream during the night. What does this mean? Does this mean that you had the dream or I had the dream from the beginning until the end of the night? Probably not. That would be terrible, I think. What this means is that it happened at some point in the night. So during can be used to talk about points in a period of time or the entire period of time. How do you know? Context helps. In this sentence, we expect it wasn't all night long. If you want to be specific that it was all the time, you can put in all. My neighbor was playing music all during the night. That means from the beginning until the end. Okay? If you don't have all, then we don't know if it's from the beginning to the end or if it was just for pieces of time. We don't know. During could be both. Okay? So this one, there were no face-to-face classes during the spring. You could also use in. And there is a very interesting difference between using during and in, especially in getting really good academic writing, things like making it really sound like natural English. If you are at that level to want to be using really natural English, pay attention to this. During is usually with the time period that is not the focus of the sentence. It is the background information. Here, the spring is not the focal information. The more important information is here. Usually you use during if you have action verbs like this one. I had a crazy dream. Well, actually, have is not really an action verb, but the dreaming is. You're focusing on what happened. That's what I want to say. You're not focusing on the time. In is more common to use if there's a focus on the time itself. You might think, boy, I don't know, I can't think of examples of how that works. Actually, there are a lot of times in English when you need to do that. For example, if I say, I lived in Chicago in May, but then I lived in California in June. I'm showing the difference in May, in June. I can't say I lived in California during May, but then in Chicago during June, or I think I mixed those up. But that doesn't work. You can't use during in that case. So during is for background time information when you want the focus on what happened. Keep that in mind, okay? Also, I want to just point out during is not generally used with shorter periods of time. You can use it with the night and the day, but we don't say during Friday, or we don't really even say during the morning or during the afternoon. It's kind of idiomatic. sporadic, that you can say during the day and during the night. Except for those, it's better to think about using them with longer chunks of time, okay? Now, throughout is a nice preposition because it's just clear. It starts at the beginning, it ends at the end, and it's all the time between. He had a great love of travel throughout his life. I know from this sentence that it was from the beginning to the end, okay? During his life, he visited Istanbul 10 times. Is this from the beginning of his life to the end of his life he visited Istanbul? No. This is 10 different points in time. So here's where we can use during. And we are focusing here on the action, not on the time period. We're focusing on the action. So better to use during. Okay? One time he stayed there for 3 months. When you have a duration of time, how long? That's when you're going to use for 3 months. What did you do over the weekend, over the holidays, over the break? Now, over doesn't get covered enough, I think, in grammar books, but we use it quite a bit, especially talking about recreation time periods. Over the summer is a good one. Over the weekend, over the holidays, these are all times when you're talking about recreation. We'd say over the summer usually because we think of that as a recreation time or time off for children. You don't say over the week. You don't say over the spring. Use it for recreation times, and then it is very common. He had an accident while jogging. I put this one in here to put your attention that you use while if you're talking about an action, like a gerund, ing. You do not use during. You can't say he had an accident during jogging. Jogging is not a time period. It is an action. Okay? All right. Let's leave these and go over to this side. By and until. This sentence is incorrect and a common problem for people whose native languages might transfer differently. That's one of the common problems with these prepositions. Most other languages use prepositions a bit differently in different contexts. So you might have a word that works in many situations that does not transfer to English that way. So this is not correct. Please send me the report until 3 o'clock. Why not? Because this needs to be by. Let's look at the difference. Until is for a continuing action or condition that ends at a time. By is for an action that occurs at or before a time. This action needs to occur at 3 o'clock or before. But you are not sending it continuously and then you finish at 3 o'clock. That's not the meaning we want. I get to my office by 9 o'clock every morning and stay until 5 o'clock. So when do I arrive? Maybe 2 minutes before 9 o'clock. Maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. Maybe at 9 o'clock. But 9 o'clock, I am in my office. Okay? And I stay there until 5. Stay is the verb here. Stay continues until 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, it ends. The staying ends at 5 o'clock. You can retake the test up to 3 times. I included this one especially for those of you who have native languages where you translate into English up to. I'm thinking especially of Farsi speakers I know who do this. When you use up to, you want to talk about numbers of different times or amounts of something, not lengths of time or period of time. generally. So you can retake this test up to 3 times, not until. And you can't use up to here. That would not be good. Okay, these are different ideas. By the way, how many times total can you take the test? 4, right? First time, and then the first retake, second retake, third retake. Okay. Students must register by June 25th. This would be a common thing to see in a catalog or somewhere. So this means June 25th is the last possible time. It can happen on June 25th or before. This next sentence may confuse you, but I put it in here because it's a common way that we express this idea, and it's a little bit different. It's using the verb have. You say that you have until a time to do something with an infinitive after it. This is meaning that the idea of having the time, the condition exists all the time until June 25th. June 25th, it stops. So this is how we say that. Students have until June 25th to register. This is a situation when you could use until with register. But if you're talking about it like this, with register as your verb, as your main verb, you cannot use until. You need to use by. So take a look at the difference there. The automobile was invented in the 1880s, but it wasn't until the early 1900s that they became popular. Not until means not before a time. And then at that time, it started. So it's the same idea, it's just that the not is the continuous that ends. Okay, I want you to look at this sentence. She'll be here the fall. And let's see what it means if we talk about these different prepositions. Let's do the easy ones first. She'll be here for the fall. How long will she be there? How long? She will be there basically for 3 months. Let's just say that we're talking about the fall as September, October, November, okay? Let's be easy about it. This means that she will come here. She will leave here. It is this time and only this time that she's here. That's 4. Throughout. She is here all of this time, but does it start here and finish? I should do this here. Does it start and finish here? We don't know. It might continue here, maybe. It might continue here, maybe. We don't know. All we know is this time. Okay? During and in, same ideas really. Saying it could be the whole time, or it could be a period, a point of time. Maybe she comes here. Maybe she comes here. That's possible. So you can't be sure when you're using during or in. You might need to ask for clarification if it's not clear. But they have possible meanings that way, whole time or parts of time. She'll be here by the fall. That means that here at the end of the fall, she is here. When does she come? I don't know. Maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. But we know that at the end of the fall, she is here. Okay? she'll be here until the fall. That means she is here now. And then usually when fall starts, she goes, she leaves. Okay? If you use the negative, she won't be here until the fall. That means she's not here, not here, not here. And then in the fall, she comes. So I hope that you get some clarification with these. They can get a little bit tricky. Take a look at them. Listen to them when you hear them. Notice them when you read them. And practice using them. Good luck.